This is why it is so important, so crucially important to set specific goals. If you do not set specific goals in life, life is going to take you wherever it wants to take you. When you have specific goals, your brain will kind of latch on to whatever that goal is, and in the background, it will kind of reach that goal for you. So let me explain. So this is your brain. It looks more like a speech bubble, but it's a brain. What we witness is like 5% of what the brain actually contains. So this is what I'd call our ego, our five senses. So me seeing this camera, recording the video, hearing the sound of my own voice, God forbid. So that makes up about 5% of what your brain actually contains. 95% of what your brain actually contains is entirely subconscious. And the thing about this is that you cannot program your reality, I guess you could say, or your life towards where you want to go by messing with your reality itself. Time is kind of a social construct. If we didn't have the day and night cycle, if our body wasn't dependent upon needing sleep, time would kind of always be now. And the reason why that's important is because you won't be able to shift your current moment until you can adjust your subconscious mind for it to shift your current moment. So your brain has a goal striving mechanism in place. And so it will naturally kind of move towards that. Birds, the reason why, despite never being told that they have to fly south for the winter, they know how to fly south for the winter because their subconscious mind, its goals, is to survive and reproduce. Humans, if you think about the hierarchy of needs, at the bottom, at the very lowest levels, are these needs that the birds have. So we have like physiological needs like having food and water. I am not spelling that right at all, and my handwriting is terrible. And then I think above the physiological needs, I think it's like safety needs, so like warmth, stuff like that. And so when you're on the lower level of the hierarchy of needs, your goal is just to reach the next level, right? And you need all the lowest levels to reach what is eventually self-actualization and self-transcendence, which is basically the idea that you are fulfilling your full potential in life, doing what you absolutely can all the time to always be the best, to do what you can while you're here on this planet. So that is self-actualization. You need all the things below it as well. So you have like esteem needs, which is like needing to be respected by people. And then, yeah, so basically when you're living in this ego-driven state, it's kind of in the esteem state. So when you see people who are out of shape, you see people who struggle with severe levels of self-worth, they are chained by their esteem needs. They are chained to their reality, and they're not able to consciously recognize these higher levels of fulfilling your purpose and doing these things in life which actually matter. And so the reason why it is so important to first off set goals is because that goal, which likely is part of your self-actualization, requires you to achieve all the things that are below it, right? So if we think back to the bird example that I gave earlier, where the bird needs to survive, and so automatically its subconscious mind kind of tells it, fly south to survive and reproduce, your brain is kind of going to do the same things when your goals are higher on the self-actualization pyramid. Where does this take us? If you can achieve these things below, so you have like family, you have a house to live in, most of us in America do have safety needs met, and very few people have esteem needs met, so a lot of people struggle with issues of self-worth and they're kind of chained to not achieving what they want to achieve. I feel like this is kind of where you find like drug addicts and stuff like that, is because they're not able to, they don't feel love for themselves. And so they take a drug and it allows them to feel like they love themselves momentarily, but then drugs are just a downward spiral that eventually leave you feeling worse than you even were before. And that's just how drugs work. If you saw my last video, you'd know there's a high and there's a low. And that's kind of like a universal law to everything. There's a yin and yang to just about everything if you think about it. But that's just how drugs work. Anyway, I'm fucking rambling at this point. So, why is it important to set goals? It is important to set goals because your goals will set you. The work will work on you more than you work on it. And that is a very important thing that you need to realize. I would even write that down if I was you, is that the work works on you more than you work on it. So my goal, and this was kind of through Think and Grow Rich, The concept of Think and Grow Rich is that it transforms your entire mind to be rich instead of what I was saying earlier, kind of trying to change reality by changing reality, trying to change the current moment to be rich. And that's just not how it works. So, Think and Grow Rich, the idea of it, and the most important lesson from Think and Grow Rich is basically to say your specific goal. So, it needs to be SMART. So, this is first off how you set goals. So, it needs to be specific. So, I want $2,000. Measurable. Well, money is measurable. You look at your bank account. Achievable. It needs to be doable. I can't make, it's highly unlikely that I'll make $1 billion tomorrow. It's not achievable. Relevant. It needs to be relevant to your life. So why do you need $2 billion tomorrow? And then time bound tomorrow. So that's how you set goals. And when you kind of implant these goals into your mind, into your subconscious mind, which again I said earlier is about 95%, it begins to kind of work in the background like a massive desktop, like a massive computer. The way that I like to think about it, actually, that's a banger right there, is that the 5% of the brain, which is all that we see right here, is like the monitor, right? You could turn off the monitor, but all this shit is still going, right? So this is like the big box of the computer that's constantly making like computations and stuff like that. That's basically what your subconscious mind is. And so when you implant a goal into your mind, it will take it, compute it into your subconscious mind, and eventually the monitor will project a different image. So I find this stuff so fascinating. But I digress. So Think and Grow Rich. It basically gets you to set a SMART goal, and then you say it repeatedly. So you say that goal 3 times in the day and then 3 times at night. And the thing that's crazy about this book, and the thing that's crazy about setting goals, especially when you couple it with things like affirmations and things like visualizations, is it progressively makes this computer stronger. It progressively makes the computations more relevant to your life. So if you see people and they have really bad esteem needs and all that they can focus on is how they have lack, how they don't have anything. And this is why like gratitude is terrible. Like, let me give you an example. I was in Austin, Texas about a month ago, and I got chips and salsa from Chipotle because I needed to use the bathroom. And I gave it to a homeless person, and he didn't even say thank you. I knew that even if I was that homeless person, in my current state with money, with a good amount of money, I would still say thank you. And I'm not blaming homeless people for stuff, but I'm saying that when you are ungrateful, all you can see is the lack that you are experiencing. And therefore, it's going to bring you more lack. So something that I like to say, or something that I've heard, is you can tell how somebody thinks by the way that they look in the life situation that they are in. And that's just based upon what they're feeding to this computer to make computations. I got so many arrows going to that computer now. So the reason why it's so important, get back to it again, to set goals is because it is going to allow that computer to change the image on the monitor. Whereas when you don't have goals, the computers just kind of work with whatever you give it. And especially if the programs that you're downloading to this computer, to this box right here, your subconscious mind, are super strong and persistent, like saying things like, I'm not good at this, I am not good at that. I don't even want to say that because I don't want my brain to fucking download it. It's going to project more of that onto the laptop or onto the desktop, onto the monitor. And so the reason why it's so important to set goals, and especially for you to keep them in your mind, is because in order to reach that goal in self-actualization, everything below here is going to be satisfied, right? So I have such a strong goal that I don't need to feel like I have to be respected to be able to make this video. I'm not worried about people fucking judging me because my goal is so great that as a result of it, it settles my esteem needs. I feel like I have worth. I feel like I have value. I know that I have value. It's not even a feeling. It's I know it. And that's also something that I gained through things like affirmations, through saying things like, I am worthy of people buying my services. I am value enough to make videos and for people to benefit from them. Things like that. I am downloading programs to this computer and it's projecting it into my reality. Do you see how I'm making this video right now as a result of the goal, which resulted into the downloads that went to this, that's now going to this is how this works. And I hope you're getting this because I love it. It gives me goosebumps thinking about it personally. So anyways, so in this video, we learned how to set goals, right? So make it specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And this is especially something that is so valuable about the Think and Grow Rich book. As you say, I want X dollars by X date. I guess it would be Y date, can't be the same thing. Y date by doing B and C. And the A, B, and C things are things that are relevant to you. So for me, when I made this goal from Think and Grow Rich, it was lawn services, real estate, and personal training. And I have since worked a job. I owned a lawn business for a little bit, then I realized it wasn't really what I was passionate about. I have a lot of knowledge about real estate, and I've worked for realtors, but again, that's something I'm gonna do later once I have more soluble income from my coaching, which is personal training. This entire reality that I'm living in right now completely manifested itself by me programming the computer that is my subconscious mind forever ago by saying this statement 3 times in the morning and night. Basically, what you need to gather from this is, first off, to have faith. The reason why faith is so important is because when you believe that something is going to happen, it is going to happen. That's just how faith works. And it sounds woo-woo, and it sounds like it's not true, but it really fucking is. Because when it becomes true, you start programming your mind to act in accordance as such to that reality that is true. It starts projecting a different thing on the monitor. That's a little dude on there. So yeah, and especially when your goals are huge. When your goals are so large that you can't even fathom achieving them. Even though they are technically, by the laws of reality, by the laws of physics, possible, right? I heard something about Elon Musk, and he's mad controversial right now. I'm gonna erase this real quick. I'm gonna keep the drawing of the computer. This is an old ass Expo marker, by the way. Look at this. I was looking for a marker forever that would show up with this crappy lighting, and I found an ancient. I feel like I'm huffing marker fumes right now. It's probably why I'm geeking so hard, because this is probably toxic. It's from like the 80s. All right, get rid of all the arrows, all that other stuff, because this is the central lesson, is that big computer and what you see right now is just the monitor. When you go to sleep, the monitor turns off, but the computer's still running. That's essentially how your subconscious mind and your conscious mind works. This is your ego. This is your 5 senses. So where was I? I kind of forgot. I was talking about Elon Musk. I think this was in Elon Musk's biography, and he's super controversial. And perhaps the reason why the stuff he's doing right now is because he has such a strong goal. So something that I saw this in a video about a guy who read his biography, and it said that Elon Musk measures up everything against, will this take us to Mars? So every decision in his day-to-day life is asking him, will this take me to Mars? Yes or no? And now he's in Congress and he's not even, so it's working for him. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. And I had a really good thought right there that I completely let vanish. What was it? With your goal that you set, right? So with my money goal, for example, it acts as your blueprint for your life. So remember when I said earlier that your life is going to take control of you if you do not take control of it. So the reason why it's so important to have goals, especially large goals, is because now you have something to compare your life to. And by comparison, I don't mean thinking about lack. I don't have enough. I don't have this goal yet. When am I ever going to achieve it? I just can't achieve my goals. No, it is about measuring everything you're doing up against that goal, right? And so when people are like, why don't you come out and party, man? Why don't you smoke some weed tonight, man? Why don't you screw some woman who's, I don't know, whatever, man? And I'm like, well, my goals that I've set, will this help me achieve my goal? Does smoking weed help me achieve my goal of making the most valuable fitness and mindset program to help anybody transform their life on autopilot through psychological principles such as this? No. So I'm not going to do it, right? And so when you see normal people, they're like, well, look at this guy. He's so straight edge, right? They don't realize that a lot of the reasons why these people are straight edge is because they just have more important goals in life than pure hedonism. And there's nothing wrong with smoking weed occasionally. There's nothing wrong with, because it's just life that's meant to be lived, in my opinion. but it's gonna mess with your goals. If you're logging your stuff in a journal, I was in London. I studied abroad last year. I was in London at this time last year. And I was completely sober because I was in an entirely different country. And I found this dude's Metro card on the ground. They call them Oyster cards there. And I hadn't smoked weed in a minute. At this point, I was journaling daily, writing down my tasks that I was doing, grinding out my lawn business from an entirely separate country, making a business run in America while I was in Europe, making money from that business, which is crazy when I say it. I love bragging about that. And I found this kid's Metro card. And I was like, dude, your Metro card's right here. He's like, hey, bruv, are you from America? And I was like, yeah. And then he was like, thanks. He was like, cheers, mate. And then he was like, I know you want to hit the Benjamin. And then he gave me a fucking Benjamin. That's all I'm going to say. And after all of this, I didn't journal for about 5 days. And if you saw my last video, you'd know why. It's because your dopamine levels spike. And then doing things like achieving your goals doesn't feel good because weed is so much easier. It's so much easier to go to a party and sleep with girls and smoke weed and feel these great things without really having to work for it. But as a result, these things are way less fulfilling because the thing that makes life enjoyable also is having a goal. I'm having fun right now making this video. I love the grind. And that's what life is about. It's about the journey. So anyways, hopefully you got some valuable information from that. But how do you cement a goal into your subconscious mind to program your computer to change your reality? Something that really helps me, and this is the book that this is about, is Stress Less, Accomplish More, is meditation, journaling, something that involves mindfulness, right? And the reason why this is so important is because if you don't have control of your thoughts, if you're not consciously aware of the thoughts that are going in and out of your head, whether positive or negative, you won't be able to dispel them to work towards your blueprint, right? So if I have a negative thought in my brain that says, well, everyone in making this video thinks I'm a dumbass because I got a robe on and I'm not 12% body fat and yada yada, and I'm not allowed to, and I don't consciously catch that thought and flick it away because of meditation and mindfulness practices that I do every single solitary day, it wouldn't be me making this video right now, right? So the reason why a mindfulness and a meditation practice is so important is because it allows you to stay focused on that goal as well. So with these meditation goals, you're able to catch your thoughts that will keep you from building and programming your brain to eventually lead you to the life that you want to have, right? So a lot of the times I see, especially with drug addicts who I talk to, and people who are homeless and stuff like that, and people who are in a bad state that I personally don't want to be in, is that they have these limiting beliefs that they don't even realize are consciously there. Things like their I am statements. These are the most important things that you have to watch out for. Because if you say it, it will program it into your mind and therefore it becomes true. I am fat. I am not somebody who eats healthy. I don't even want to say that stuff. I am bad at, I'm not instrumentally inclined. I'm not musical. I am these things that are true only because you believe they are true, right? You're not good at playing music because you've never practiced music, right? People aren't born with inert talent. You need to realize that. Everyone who has what they have, although some people certainly started with more privilege, they have it because they fucking worked for it. And some people can't seem to fathom that because they don't realize that the statements that they're saying to themselves are killing their ability to thrive in life. And so this is why something like meditation, and I've been doing meditation since I was 15. I'm 20 now, so for 5 years. And it's a practice that takes time. It's going to take time. And I'll teach you guys how to meditate later because of how important this really fucking is. What was I saying? I'm like straight huffing fumes in this marker right now. Oh my gosh. But yeah, meditation is important because it allows you to keep yourself from programming your mind with things that don't align with whatever your blueprint is, okay? So if I thought I am unhealthy and my goal is to be 12% body fat, if I just rolled with that, I would continue to strive far away from that goal that I have, right? Whereas if I can catch it and be like, that's not helping me at all, flick it away, realize that thoughts are just thoughts and they just flow through everyone and that they are not me, they are just thoughts, I'm able to focus on that goal which acts as my blueprint. That goal which acts as my blueprint allows me to know what is right or wrong, what things to put into my mind to be able to dictate my reality, to be able to program my computer, to be able to eventually show it up on the monitor, which is you watching this video, your conscious awareness of everything like that. So, let me give you a summary of this video. A big summary that hopefully is concise enough for you to be able to get a valuable action plan from this video. Because if you're just watching this video and you're not taking action, you're just wasting your fucking time. And I don't want you to do that. Okay, so if I was watching this video, what is this video titled? It's probably going to be like something that, I don't know. I would come to this video wanting to know how to change. So how do you change your life? If I was in a bad place right now, if I was in the place I was 4 years ago, heartbroken, down on my luck, miserable, depressed, on antidepressants, addicted to marijuana, what would be the first thing that I would do? Read. Plainly put, read. But since you're watching a video, it's not really an actionable step. But what you certainly need to do is follow what I said in my last video to deprive yourself of all high sources of dopamine so that it's more entertaining to read. Because all these books are going to allow you to change your life a lot more than even this video will. So read. You read. For the love of God, you need to read. First thing for that would be to get rid of all your dopamine sources. But anyways, basic ideas of this video. Your life is equal to your thoughts. Control your thoughts and you can control your life through something like meditation, through a mindfulness practice. So practice something that is mindful. The way that I meditate is that I sit down, set a timer on my Apple Watch. I love the Apple Watch, by the way. It's so worth the price. And what I do is I focus on breathing in and breathing out. And I don't judge any of my thoughts. I just put all of my focus onto breathing in and breathing out. When my mind wanders, I just think my brain is thinking. And then I bring it back to breathing in and breathing out. And I do that until the time goes up. That's all that meditation is. It allows you to consciously be aware when your mind is drifting and when it's not drifting. That is the most important. It needs to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So, like I said earlier, let's do a money one because that makes more sense. I will have X dollars by Y date ABC. So this is specific. I will have this amount of money by this date. It is measurable. I will have this amount of money. It is achievable, time-bound. It's not completely out of the place. It's relevant because these things need to be relevant towards your life, towards what your interests are, what they might possibly result in you doing, and time-bound, date. So set a huge goal. Affirm it. Affirm that goal. Hold on to this goal with your fucking life. Say it repeatedly in the morning and at night, because this is when your mind is most plastic in terms of putting things into your subconscious mind. Is 95% of what your brain is. Conscious, as a result, is 5%. Subconscious is like the computer. Consciousness is like the monitor. The computer's always running, or it's on even when the monitor's off. It's on even when you're sleeping, right? So when you affirm these things when you wake up and go to sleep, you're more receptive towards those affirmations because you're kind of in a dreamlike state, which reality itself should be observed as anyways. You should realize that like when you're lucid dreaming, your brain thinks you're as awake as you are even when you're not actually awake. So basically, think of life right now as the fact that you are dreaming. And now, knowing that you're dreaming, realize that you are lucid dreaming. Realize that you can literally do fucking anything. Because you can. Technically, anything that isn't against the laws of physics is possible. And so you need to wake up also. You need to realize that you're lucid dreaming. And you need to be consciously aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Which is, again, so important. It's why it's so important to set a goal. So your life equals your thoughts, you control your life. If you practice mindfulness, you'll be able, as a result, to control your thoughts. When you set a huge goal, you'll be able to dispel between noise and signal. A goal acts as your blueprint, right? Affirm this goal. This is your blueprint for life. Affirm it so it can be implanted into the computer that is your subconscious mind, which controls pretty much everything, is your subconscious mind. So put it into your blueprint through affirming your goal in the morning and night. As a result of you affirming this goal in the morning and night, it'll put it into your subconscious mind, And before you can even realize it, you will have achieved that goal. Or you have been very close to achieving that goal before you have even realized it. Because it's going on in the background. It's the computer. It's all the processes. You don't really realize it's going on. What the hell? 6. What could I say here? Hope my phone's still recording. It is. Honestly, I think that's about it. Make these a habit. The way that you can do that will probably be explored in a future video because habits are way too big of a book or way too big of a concept to cover in this book, in this story. It's already been like, in this video, it's already been like 30 minutes, I think. But a book you should read to learn about habits is Atomic Habits. A book you should also read is Think and Grow Rich. And Dopamine Nation is a good one, as well as Psycho-Cybernetics. You read those, you'll understand this stuff a whole lot more. And once you can begin, and I went on a date yesterday, and she said, "What's your favorite thing about yourself?" And I said, "My favorite thing about myself is working on myself, but not in a self-improvement way. Working on myself basically by treating my mind as the computer and finding ways to program my subconscious for whatever it is I want." So yeah, if you have any nuances about this or need me to expand on anything, please leave a comment because you'll be helping you, you'll be helping me, you'll be helping everyone by leaving a comment rather than just being like, this guy's a fucking nutcase. He has no clue what he's talking about, yada. But yeah, if you want to help do things like this, if you want hands-on experience with programming your mind to achieve your goals on autopilot through psychological principles like this, I'm a psych major. I've read way more books than this. I clearly know what I'm talking about. Hopefully it's clear that I know what I'm talking about. Reach out and I will help you transform your life on autopilot. Although I specialize in getting you first in shape. Because as I said earlier, actually, a big part and the reason why it's so important to get in shape and kind of why it's a part of my protocol is because it helps you get over those esteem needs, which allows you to see a higher area of consciousness, which you don't even see when you are at the lower levels. They did a study on, I think it was on sailors, and they starved them of food, right? So they took them down to their basic physiological needs by starving them. I don't think they actually starved them, but I think it was just a result of them being on a ship and starving. As a result of them being so hungry, all the songs that they sang were about food. All they could think about was food, right? And so as you emerge above this hierarchy of needs, physiological needs, safety needs, esteem needs, I definitely skipped one there, self-actualization, all you can think about is the next level, right? And like I said earlier, I think this is why people who are addicted to drugs struggle with being addicted to drugs, is because they think that by doing drugs they will fit in. They think they will be respected. They think, or they feel like they are respected. But it's fleeting. It's ultimately fleeting. And so it's not fulfilling, and it's kind of a trick, basically. And I also think this is why a lot of people, especially in my sobriety, I understood what God was, if that makes sense. There's a lot of silence when you are constantly on a lower level of being by always fighting for your esteem needs, by always doing drugs to fit in, stuff like that. You don't really hear this voice in your head that's telling you to work towards your blueprint, which you subconsciously programmed into your mind. So, action plans. Jesus Christ. Action plans. Start a meditation habit. I do 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. But you can even do like 2 minutes. Just start. Just say, oh, I'll only do 2 minutes and then do it. That's all you need to do. Meditation habit. Set a SMART goal. And this goal should be so large that you can't even fucking fathom achieving it. Although it is still possible. So you can't say, I'm gonna disobey fucking Newton's law. Good luck, man. Good luck. But anything else is fair game. So set a SMART goal. Affirm the goal. Let's say 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night. So write it down. Write your goal down and read it. Put it by your bed. This is literally what I do. This is literally why I have enough self-worth to make this video now. It's because I affirmed it that I had self-worth. And I do. And yeah. And then also comment if you watch this far. Watch, comment. Anyways, boys. My mind is kind of scrambled, and I'm going to get better with these videos as I continue to make them. But hopefully you derive some value from this. Please leave a timestamp if you got confused about anything, and I will help you out because I know my shit. And yeah, much love, fellas. Much love. I'm going to go do deep work now.